proud of you.
You?
Test, test.
Doug, how are you? Oh, thank you. Yes, I am.
Coach, like to begin the media conference by giving your general thoughts about the game, and then we'll open it up for more specific questions from the media. Go ahead with your comments.
Okay, thank you. Well, we knew coming into it, Regis was just an unbelievable team, obviously, the defending state champs from last year. And we knew it would take a lot of hard work and execution and a lot of great possessions on our part to get it done. We came out a little, I was going to say soft, but that's not the word. I think a little reluctant in some areas on offense, where we're normally looking to attack a bit more than what we did in that first quarter. And kind of got the jitters out of us and then started playing some basketball. We switched up some defenses to try to see what fit. And from there, you kind of know what happened. A beautiful overtime game, and we're just happy to be on the other end of it.
Coach, can you just talk about mentally how a team rebounds from having the lead and then giving it up on a banked-in three-pointer like that and having to turn around in overtime and do what you did?
Sure. We had an overtime game earlier on this year against Marcus Sand. Skip is a great coach, and they banked a three or hit a three, rather, very similar, a deep one, contested one, and hit it. And we went into overtime, and we ended up crushing them in overtime. And that's exactly what our assistant coach said is, hey, we've been here before. And we knew going into that type of feeling that we'd have another one of these. We just didn't think it'd be in this state game. But nonetheless, it served us well during the regular season, and I think they just never looked back, hit some big free throws.
Coach, you talked about changing defenses, and obviously just talk about what worked when you went to the defense. It looked like you were doing like some kind of full court trapping and
sure.
Things. I don't know all the technical names of it, but what did it do for your team?
You bet. We have several defenses. These types of kids that I have are really able to play a lot of different defenses, and so I'm grateful for that. As a coach, you can experiment a little bit, and we tried our diamond in the half court, and it was a zone. Didn't work out so well for us. They found some open players, some open shots. And then we went into what the Green Bay women's basketball team runs, and that's like a buzz defense. And they do it a little bit better than us, actually a lot bit better than us, but we try to replicate it as best as possible, and that's just trying to guard passing lanes and funnel the ball in the middle and just try to make them make silly decisions with the basketball. And we were grateful enough to get them some looks that maybe they didn't normally want to take and rebound off of it, and I think that helped us quite a bit. Yes.
Allie,
Yes, Doug.
you're down 24-9. Your girls scored 10
Was
straight.
that how much we were down?
Yeah,
Darn
sorry
it
to
all.
remind you about
Wow.
that. How big was that 10-point run before halftime to get the girls back in it? So when you looked at the scoreboard, the third quarter didn't seem as daunting.
Yeah, anytime you have a team like Regis and you're down that much, Doug, you got to make a run. That was huge, especially before halftime, to go into the locker room with some momentum and then just talk about a couple things that we just needed to tweak a little bit in order to put ourselves in a position to succeed toward the end of the game. And they came out and executed. I mean, we've talked to them all year. We can only draw up things. They have to go out and execute, and they certainly did. So that momentum was huge going into halftime.
On the defensive side, how much of your defense was pointed at containing frustrating Bovee?
A lot of it was. Unfortunately, I think she had 32, so I don't know how much we frustrated her. However, again, a Division I recruit. We knew she was tough. We knew she was strong, and our whole game plan was to try to not give her as many looks and make somebody else hurt us. And they had a couple kids step up and hit some big-time shots. I mean, 10 hit a great one from the corner that allowed them to tie it up and things like that. So, I mean, all of them can play. You don't get to this level without being able to play. And so we're just, again, we're just so proud and humbled by this experience, and we're very blessed to be here.
Like Coach said, we've been here before, so we knew how to handle it. We really just had to pull together as a team, and that's exactly what we did, and we came out with a win.
This is for Lexy and Maddy. You guys out-rebounded them by 14, and you both had great rebounding days. I guess just, especially maybe for you, Maddy, I think they listed you at 5'10". Maybe I read that wrong.
She may be a little bit shorter. Kind of give her an inch or two.
In your case, I mean, how do you get it done? How does someone your size, grab 14 rebounds in the state semifinal?
Well, Well, it's just every day in practice I have to box out Lexi Peterman, so I've learned from the best.
I can help off that. This kid has a nose for the ball, and when it goes up, she's working. You know, most people, young girls, unfortunately, watch it and see where it's going to. She just knows. She has a knack for it, and every time it goes up, she's working to get position, and so it's huge. It's huge. We call her our sophomore savior.
Coach just talked about starting off like 3 for 19 midway through the second quarter. What girls was it the backdrop of just playing on the stage, or where do you attribute, it's kind of that slow start and all of a sudden you go 19 for 31 to finish the game?
I guess it's just getting our jitters out at the beginning. It was very exciting to play on the floor that we were on, and we just had to take it as it is and pull through, and that's what we did.
Well, right now it's almost unreal, but it's very exciting, and it's one step closer to our ultimate goal, and the feeling is just overwhelming right now.
Teenie,
Yes.
remember freshman year, and you girls came in, and there were a lot of expectations on you. And senior year, now you're here in the state championship game. What's this whole ride mean this year for you girls?
Can you say it again?
Your freshman year.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Doug. You did it better than I did.
Since your freshman year, there's been a lot of expectations on you girls because of the talent level. So what's this mean to you to now be in the state championship game?
It means everything. This is all we've been working for, and this is all like AAU, camps, summer ball. It's all led up to this one tournament and this one game. So to find that it pays off means a lot.
She said it's the most fun she's ever had.
It's the most fun I've ever had.
Look at her straight face.
Coach, can you talk about the 3 by Hattie Bartlett before Bovey's
gosh.
3? And it almost looked like I'm not sure if you thought it was a good shot at that point in a tie ball game, but sure looked good after it went in.
Absolutely. It's so funny that you say that because Hattie's the type of kid that doesn't have a different drive. It's just full drive, full throttle. She doesn't let up at all. And so I knew she was going to hit a big one. I cannot honestly tell you that I was cheering for her to shoot that. However, it was like one of those, no, yes, one of those. And she hit it. She had ice in her veins, and she wanted it. So I'm very proud of her. She's a great kid.
Now, do you ever put a pedometer on yourself on the sidelines? How much you've gone up and down the sidelines? You're one of the more animated coaches that's ever brought a team here.
Animated. You're sweet. That's a funny comment. I think that's one of the more polite words people have used to call me on the sideline. I don't notice a lot. I'm just into it. And I know how bad they want it. I know I've had the pleasure of watching them work so hard every day in practice. Summer ball, like T said, AAUs. I've been through a lot with these young ladies. And to know how bad they want it, solely watching them in practice is such a pleasure. And so I think it just kind of exudes out of me when I'm on that sidelines because I want it so bad for them. Thank you. I appreciate it.
One last question.
Coach, and then maybe Lexi can weigh in on this too. There were stretches where you absolutely held them silent for minutes at a time, and then especially late in the fourth quarter, there were times when Heather Bovey especially started dominating. So can you talk about the two differences between those two times?
Yeah, I think I like the moments where we held her or held them to no points a lot more than the ones where she. Like I said, I don't even know if I can speak more highly of the young lady. I wish her well. She's going to have a great career in college, and again, that's their go-to, and she certainly answered for them. It just was, I think a coach would probably say the time just, expired before they could do more of what I know that they're capable of, and unfortunately for us, we're sitting up here at this point. The times where she was going, I just kept thinking to myself, I know we're going to make some big stops, and I had, full faith in these guys that, of course, she's going to get hers. She's an excellent player, but just to weather those storms and have more times that they're not getting hoops more than they are. Yeah, go ahead, Lex.
Well, again, like she said, Heather Bowie is a really tough player. Watching film on her, I knew it was going to be a battle the whole night. And I know she's going to do well, and I can't wait to play with her in the All-Star game. But, again, she's just tough, and we knew we had to weather her down and push the ball out more than having it pushed in. So we tried our best, and we came out with a win.
All right, thanks for coming in. Get some rest, and we'll see you on Saturday.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Free water. Can we just take it with us? Oh, thank you.
I'm so thirsty. I rolled my pants up.
Thank you so much. Bob, did you need anybody? Okay. Thank you. Thank you guys so much. Doug.
I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything to everybody.
Coach, like to take this time to have you make a mention of your thoughts of the game, and then we'll open it up for more specific questions from the media. Go ahead with a general comment.
Well, I guess this thing, I don't know. All right, just checking. Well, seriously, I don't know. Anyways, I thought at the beginning of the game they kind of came out and they were playing man-to-man, which is kind of something we were kind of banking on there. And I thought the way the team executed in the first and second quarter was almost flawless on offense. Towards the end of the second half, they kind of switched it up on us. I thought that we struggled through that about the end of the second quarter into the third quarter before we started making some good shots again in the fourth quarter. I think had we probably penetrated a little bit better and kind of kept ourselves a little bit more composed, we probably would have had a different outcome there.
Hi, Dennis.
Did you call bank on that last shot?
I don't know. That was a miracle. No, I don't know.
Heather, can you just take me through the last few minutes of regulation there, because you really turned it on and kind of went nuts and put the team on your back, and then of course culminating with the three at the end. Take us through that shot and what was going through your head.
The only thing that really went through my head was Westby. That's all I thought of last year, and then I just knew we had to refocus, and we just didn't, I guess.
Coach, you just talk about when they changed defense and really sagged. They were 2 and 3 around, there most of the second half. You just couldn't find that other score that you needed?
Yeah, more or less, I guess, when we struggled this season is when teams would kind of sink, 2 and 3 on Heather. More times than not, we do have the other players that kind of step up around her and kind of, throw the team on their back a little bit. So I think that, it was really nothing new to us, the way that they were kind of doing that.
And Haley hit a big shot. So I went to head my 3 if Haley went to hit that 3.
That's another thing I want to say, too. I mean, the way that the team, I don't know if we were down by 7 or 8 at the time, but, the way that we fought back there at the end of the fourth quarter, I thought was just basically tremendous, and was one of those things that, even though we didn't get the outcome that we wanted, it's something that you're still going to look back on and be proud of, the way that they came back at the end of the quarter.
When you make that kind of comeback, you hit the shot at the buzzer to tie it. There's such a euphoria. A lot of times that leads to a strong overtime, but this time it seemed like it was not there for you. Do you think you peak at that moment, or what happened to lose that rush you got?
I mean, they drew a couple fouls very early in the overtime, and when you're starting the overtime and you're tied, that's a different story. If you start and you get the first basket, I believe that's a different story too. But they drew a couple fouls, they knocked down the free throws, and then I felt like we were kind of just picked up right where we left off, and we were fighting from behind again. Whereas as we would have got that first bucket, I think things would have went a little bit different.
Coach, can you just talk about what Heather did for you in the last few minutes? It seemed like you guys were down so much, and at times it seems like it was just pure will from her that brought you guys back into it.
Well, that's obviously one of the things that I love about, and then when I do talk about Heather, when people ask me questions about her, like even you guys, it's one thing that I always say first is she's got a strong desire to win. And it comes out of her, and she plays her best in pressure situations, and that's something you really just can't teach. That's either something you have or you don't, and that's one thing that she has.
Heather, Heather, can you just talk about the feeling and what it was like for the girls afterwards? Because after the overtime, you guys kind of walked out. You were quiet. There wasn't a ton of real bad emotion. It seemed like you guys kind of walked out with your heads held high.
Yeah, I think we just had a lot of adrenaline, and it just kind of, once they scored, we were just like, oh gosh, now we got to refocus and play. I guess all you can really do right now is just thank everybody, thank the team, and thank the community for supporting throughout all these years. It's been a great 4 years at Regis. Coach did a really good job his first year coming in with. He had a lot of pressure, and I think everybody just did a really good job. And us 8 seniors, it was a journey. It was really fun.
Any other questions? One man in the back here. Hold on.
Heather, with all that's kind of happened here with the Badgers and playing on the Kohl Center, you got to find a little pride in putting it all on the court in your final game here in high school on the Kohl Center floor and, putting 32 points up.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun playing on the Kohl Center. I love this court. Who doesn't love playing here? But, I mean, I'm excited. My future's in a new direction, and it was really fun to share it with some of my favorite people, and it's too bad we can't play on Saturday, but I'm proud of all my teammates.
Any other questions for Coach or Heather? Seeing none. Great year. Thanks for coming in.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.